This is my story of how I rode this boat across the Pacific Ocean. That's me, Cassidy. Come relive every unforgettable moment with me through the incredible highs and the intense lows during my 38 days, 9 hours, and 3 minutes at sea. Day 13 was the first day I jumped in the water in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. The main purpose of this was to clean the bottom of the boat. It's bottom of the boat cleaning day. Elena, jumping in?
Yeah.
We'll show you what's underneath. But it really did give such a morale boost. The water felt so refreshing, and it was just a really cool experience to have. Cleaning the bottom of the boat was important. Because we're moving so slow, barnacles actually attach to the bottom of the boat, and it can slow us down even more. Aside from cleaning the barnacles off though, we also removed the line that was wrapped around the rudder from the capsize, and also checked on our broken daggerboard to see how it was holding up after Kate had tried to repair it. As you can see, it wasn't doing so hot. We think having it in was actually hurting us more than helping us at this point. But it wasn't for another few days or so that we removed it, and by the time we removed it, the broken piece had fallen into the middle of the ocean somewhere, so we didn't even have a full daggerboard anymore. As you can see, it's a very calm day while we're in the water. Little to no winds and no waves. I wasn't tied to the boat by anything, but the current was still strong, and I can assure you I did not let go of those ropes that were on the side of the boat. Something that was so confusing while on the boat was time. For some reason, I could never get used to my off shifts and figuring out what time it was when my alarm went off, when I needed to wake up, how many hours I had for my shift. I always had to, even though it was the same every single day, I always had to go, okay, I got off the oars at 4, so I have until 5, 6, 7. Okay, so now I need to get up at 6:50. It was just always counting on my fingers, figuring it out, even though my alarms were preset. It just, every time, it was so hard to figure out. But for whatever reason, there were so many times I would wake up early thinking either I missed my shift or it was close to the time I had to get ready for my shift. I think what often happened is I would only look at the last 2 digits of the time and go off of that. So I would wake up at 6:50 in the morning for my 7 o'clock shift. I just panicked that I was late to my shift. And I was rushing to get my sleeping bag off and my fall weather gear on because it's still cold. And I still have another hour. Going back to bed. But when I took this video, it was 6:02 a.m. and I must have thought it was 7:02 and just felt so guilty that I was late to my shift and late to relieving Kate to come off the oars. I was just so confused. I remember rushing out of my sleeping bag, starting to get dressed, realizing I should probably tell Kate that I'm on my way. And then it hit me, and I opened the cabin door, and I was like, is it time for my shift? And Kate and Elena were like, no, you still have an hour. Oh my gosh. So I was like crying because I felt guilty that I was late. And then I was crying because I was so happy that I got to keep sleeping. It was just time. Time was so confusing. A really fun surprise though on day 14 was receiving a video from Team Salty Sappers. They were our boat neighbors pre-race in Monterey, and we just spent a lot of time chatting with them before the race had started. And one of the things we often joked about was an eating contest. And this was the video they sent back.
I like water. I like water. Wings! Want some wings? You want them, girl? Let's go. Let's get it. In Hawaii. Woo!
It's It's just so fun to think that both of our teams were in the middle of the ocean when this video was sent. This video was really fun to get. At this point in the race, everything felt very deja vu-like. The days felt slow. There was no wind, no waves, so rowing was not very exciting. Nothing was bad or wrong necessarily, but it wasn't overly great either.
It's been a good day. Just vibing today. No real highs, no real lows. Just another day on the ocean.
We did have a couple of fun things planned.
We're talking about our coming weeks. We've got Watermelon Wednesday next week. We brought a watermelon on board, just a small one. We're going to treat ourselves to that at the halfway point-ish. And then the following week we are going to have a 4th of July celebration on board. We all brought some fun outfits and we've got a good 4th of July playlist. And yeah, I'm just excited for the upcoming weeks.
But they weren't for another week or two. And looking back, I wish that we would have been more intentional about creating fun and exciting things to look forward to, just to break up that routine a little bit. We had so much excitement in the first week, and once things slowed down, it felt like, what now? I was well into a good eating routine though.
About to eat my second meal of the day, creamy mac and cheese. It's a staple. Easy to get down. Delicious.
I would eat my first meal either during my 7 to 10 a.m. shift or right after that. And I would eat my second meal between my 4 p.m. and 7 p.m. shift, and then snack throughout the day. I was also figuring out what my favorite meals were and which ones I didn't love so much. This helped me make sure I wasn't eating the same meal over and over again, but also to make sure I wasn't eating all of my favorite meals first, because I knew that would hurt me towards the end of the race if I was just eating the meals I didn't love. But waking up for shifts was still so hard.
I'm about to go on to my favorite shift. Sunset from 7 to 10 p.m. And I still just struggle to like wake up and leave this cabin and go out there. It's so hard to be motivated to go row. Once I'm out there, it's fine, but we're not even halfway.
You hear horror stories of team members locking themselves in cabins and not rowing, and I can totally see why people do that. We joked about this feeling we get when we go in the cabin, and we called it cabin paralysis, where you go in there and you have all these plans of what you're going to do. You might eat a certain amount of snacks, you might tidy things up, change your clothes, brush your hair, whatever it might be. But for whatever reason, you go in there and you just can't do anything. So I can definitely see why people get in this rut of not wanting to do anything. But for me, I noticed actually coming out of the cabin was so helpful, and starting to row and move my body a little bit. It was just a clear definition of determination over motivation. Motivation's only going to get you so far, but if you're determined to do it, you're going to do it. And day 13 and 14 letters. Day 13 is from my niece, Ariana. She says, "Yay, it's day 13. You know what that means, ... Well, actually, I don't either. But you're closer to finishing than you were yesterday." For anyone who knows Ariana, you know that she's very sarcastic, and I laughed reading this because I could just hear her saying it. Day 13 from Trenton. And he says, "Today, during one of your shifts, look out into the ocean and think about all the reasons why you decided to row an ocean. Let that same passion fuel you all the way to the finish line. As soon as you touch Kauai, you'll be dubbed an ocean rower. Wow, that's an awesome title. It is a pretty cool title to have. Day 14 is from my friend Kania, and she says, I can't cry about having a lot on my plate when my goal was to eat. And then she has a quote, confidence is 10% hard work and 90% delusion, from Tina Fey. And day 14 from Trenton. He says, 2 weeks have passed since your journey has started. You continuously inspire me beyond words. Every day you spend out there is a victory. Keep your eyes on the prize. Proud of you always. Every day out there really was a victory. Being able to celebrate each day and look back on each day is really fun for me. I have enjoyed looking through all of these videos, looking back through my notes, remembering what had happened. This vlog really is for all of you to watch and learn about my experience out there, but it's a big part for me too. I'm excited to have these videos to look back on and remember the row as closely as possible to what it really was. So just thank you all for watching and subscribing and sharing. I'm excited to keep going through all of the days with you. And I will see you next week for days 15, 16, and 17.